Are we on the air?
Ruh-roh. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're as you can see, we're at the house. We got all kinds of construction going on in the backyard here. They came and set the forms for our deck for the pool. So I had to get my toy hauler moved because that's going to Glamis this weekend, get the season started. I moved my Chevelle. I'm going to put it behind the trailer, and I got a bunch of work to do on my car before the season starts. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take the old girl out of hibernation here, and hopefully the tires aren't flat, and get her out of the trailer. And I think tomorrow I'm going to drive her over to the shop because, you know, we are in Arizona and my car is street legal. So I'm just going to drive it on the streets and just drive it over there. And once we do what we need to do to it, I should be able to drive it back. I got a bunch of motor upgrades I'm going to do. Just, you know, belts and tensioners and such. But I'm actually also going to be working on the front suspension. Oh, good. The tires aren't flat. That's awesome. So we're actually going to take the arms off. We're going to get rid of these arms. We're going to put 2-inch wider arms on there, and we're going to switch the upper shock mounts, and I'm going to put bypasses in the front of this thing. So there's my Rocky Mountain Race Week sticker. So yeah, guys, we're going to go ahead and get this thing pulled out of here, move the paddles out of the way, and get her parked over there on the concrete. Thought I was going to get away with not having to air the tires up, but it looks like the loaders were flat, and then my off-road jack was underneath the car, and that was kind of holding it up because front tires were flat too. So we're going to go ahead and fill the air compressor up and get these things aired up and get this thing out of here. Guys, I actually normally leave this trailer out in Glamis for the entire off season, but we brought it home this year because it was supposed to go off to Warrior and get some of this stuff fixed, but we just got so busy with other projects and the move and all this going on, and you know how it goes. So this thing will get us through another season, no problem. Guys, this car's been sitting in this trailer since May, so hopefully the battery's not dead. It's got a brand new Optima in it. Well, it was a brand new Optima. Normally I would test this without the camera, but we're gonna go ahead and see what happens here. I gotta get underneath here and turn the battery switch on and see what happens. Battery switch on. Let's see if we have any voltage. Oh no, she is dead. All right, well, we're gonna have to go grab the jumper. Man, every year I'm buying a battery for this darn car. Oh, nope, we do have some voltage. That was my mistake. I left the power switch on. What a bummer. Oh well. All right, we're gonna go grab the snap-on jumper. Guys, I feel like a complete tool for leaving that switch on. I always cut it off when I pull my car in the trailer. I must have been in such a hurry to get out of there. You know, it happens. I end up having to buy a new Optima every year for the freaking thing, so that is what it is. So we're gonna grab the jump box, see if we can't get it fired up. And you know, those Optima batteries, once in a while you can save them. We call it nuke charging them, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so we got old reliable out here, our snap-on fast 420, and I'm gonna roll it back here and see if we can't get this thing fired up. All right, guys, we got the starter jumper on, and it immediately jumped up to pulling like 40 amps, so we might get lucky on this one. This battery still is probably good. Where you have a problem is when you put the charger on there and it goes to 0 and it doesn't draw anything. That's when you're in trouble. So we're gonna let it sit on there for a few minutes, and we'll try to fire this thing up and get it out of here. All right, let's go in and check on this. So she's still pulling about 20 amps, but let's see if we can't get her to fire up. Fuel pump sounds good. Yeah, there she is. All right. All right, let's get her out of the trailer. Forgot how touchy my clutch was. God, I love this car. Good oil pressure. Alternator's doing its thing. It's good to go. All right, I'm going to shut it off. I'm going to bring the battery charger back over here, let it sit on this thing for a little while, and then thank God, doesn't have to buy another $200 or $300 Optima, so that one will be good to go. And maybe I'll have this thing coated while we're waiting. I'll have it coated just like the floor is. The guy's right here local in town that does all our coating. So, all right, guys, we're gonna get the battery charger, get it hooked up, and start getting this thing cleaned up and cleaning up the trailer. We're gonna replace the A-arms. We're gonna go to the monster style A-arms, which are 2 inches longer. They've got bigger uniballs. I've got 2-inch hollow spindles with different brakes. The only thing we're going to have to really fabricate is new tie rods, and I have all the parts to do that. And then we're going to change these upper shock mounts completely. So since my car has a 10-inch shock on it, I've got a 10-inch bypass, so we need this space right here. If I was to put those arms on the car now, I'd have to switch to a 12-inch shock because it puts the shock 2 inches further out this way. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the new style San Limo shock mounts, and we're going to cut all these bars out of here, and we'll show you guys the newer GP105 style shock mounts that come right off the side of this bar. That'll give us the 2 inches we need, and I can keep a 10-inch shock on the front of this car. So it should work really well. And yeah, I think I'll be the first one that's changed to that style shock mount with an older cruiser. So we'll see how it works. If it works out good, maybe we'll do it to all the cars. To keep you from having to run such a big shock. And Joe knows the geometry way better than I do. The more you lean these over, you're going to have to change the valving and maybe even the spring rate, but you know, that's something we're willing to do just to make this happen. So look forward to that in a future video, guys, of us taking these arms off and getting all new arms put on this car. All right, so we got the sand car moved over here onto the concrete. A couple things we're going to be doing to it. Well, first I'm going to clean the motor. It does have a little bit of an oil leak at the oil pan drain bolt. Somebody's got one of those weird adapters on there. I'm going to go back to a stock one. We're going to spray this down with Simple Green. A couple of things that we have for this motor that I've had for a while is I got a set of fuel rails that I bought a while back. If you guys remember, I don't know if you remember or not, but this is actually my backup motor. My regular motor started to leak a little bit of oil out of the front main and rear main, so I pulled it, put this motor in, and then I put a new front and rear main on my other motor, and it's sitting. This one makes a lot more power than my other motor. I've also got my Corvette valve cover deals, so those are right here. I'm gonna figure out how to get those on. Looks like everything's going to be kind of in the way, seeing that I'm still running a truck alternator up high. We'll get that figured out eventually. And then I've got my Motion Raceworks Cletus Edition Valley cover. I bought this right when they did the deal with Motion Raceworks, right when these came out. This was on my old backup motor, or my other motor that was in my car. I took it off, and with this manifold on here, you're not really going to see it, but I'm gonna put it on anyway, just because it's just so it's there. I do like the quality of that one way better than the stock one. So we're gonna get this all cleaned off, and I'll probably pop the intake manifold off today and get that valley cover put on. Just a couple things I can do here at the house before we get this thing off to the shop. I don't know if you guys can tell, but we ditched the rear cowl. That thing's gone. So I can take these hose clamps and these brackets off. A lot of smoothing out I can do. And then I'm not sure what I'm gonna do about a trunk wing. Having a trunk wing is cool, but a lot of stuff gets thrown in here, and when it comes apart, at the bottom you can see this is all dented up. So when I go to powder coat this thing, you're really gonna be able to see that. So I'll probably have to make a new trunk wing. We might even have another one at the shop. I also have a car style damper for this thing, so I can put all the car accessories on this. I'll move the alternator down here down low. I can get rid of all this, and then I'll stop shredding all these belts. So I'll get a car tensioner, I'll get all the car stuff that I need versus all this truck stuff, and then that way that'll all be dialed in and good to go. So we're gonna go ahead and spray this thing down with some simple green right now, hose her off, get her all cleaned up, and I'm gonna go ahead and pop the intake off and get that valley cover on. So if you guys are curious about this motor too, this is an iron block 5.3. It's got 241 heads on it that are CNC ported. It's got a cam in it, and unlike my other motor that was just stock, my old motor was an aluminum block 5.3. This one's an iron block 5.3. Like I said, CNC ported heads. It's got trunnions, valves. So this one makes, you know, quite a bit more power than my stock 5.3 did. I think this thing made in the high 300, low 400s to the tire. So it's pretty good for a 5.3. So I do have the dyno sheet around in the spec sheet here somewhere. Maybe I'll post that up later. But all right, we're gonna get to spraying, getting this thing cleaned off, and get it apart. So guys, as you can see, something was definitely off with the belt alignment here. I have all the stuff to use this alternator. Well, this is a truck alternator too. I have all the billet aluminum stuff that came on this motor, but for some reason, and I don't remember what that reason was, it wouldn't fit. Anyways, I'll pull all that stuff out and take a look, and if it all fits on here with this alternator, we'll go ahead and go back to the original belt and the original layout. What I had done is taken this truck setup so I could get my alternator back up here, and the reason why I like my alternator up high like this is because I've had this car for 10 or 11 years now, and I've never had to replace this alternator, not once. There's a lot of guys that come into our shop and they're replacing alternators every trip or every other trip. And the reason being is it's mounted down here in the factory LS1 location. Well, the problem with that is it's right here by the back tires. And you got a bunch of sand blowing right down here on the back of the motor, gets in the alternator, eats up the brushes, eats up the windings, and eats up the regulator. With them being up high like this, you don't get very much sand up here. So, and it's not because I don't dune the car, because this car gets duned a lot. I mean, I put a lot of hours and a lot of miles on this car. So it's definitely from having it up high like this. If I have to put it down there, I will. Maybe I'll make some sort of a skid plate to go around it to block that sand. But anyways, we're going to get to getting this apart and getting these fuel rails on, and the my Motion Raceworks valley plate. All right, guys. Well, I was going to pull all this apart, and this quick thunderstorm jumped up on us. Whoa! So I'm going to go ahead and cover the car up, and looks like we got some rain coming. So it's a cool rainbow over there. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and cover things up out here. All right, guys. So we got the car covered up. It is definitely starting to rain. What do you think?
It's starting to rain.
So so much for that little project we were going to work on. Wait till the storm passes, and then by then it'll probably be dark. So I don't know, we'll get to cleaning this stuff up, and so we live to get her done another day. So yeah, it's definitely starting to rain, so we're gonna wow. I swear you guys would think that we moved to Florida and not Arizona. So We're actually in the middle of neglecting my Chevelle, but we're cleaning out the toy hauler for the season, getting it ready to get back out to the dunes, giving it a good spring cleaning, fall cleaning, whatever you want to call it. It gets awfully nasty, but let's jump out here and take a peek over my back wall and see what the storm looks like, seeing that I can't work on a car. Oh, it's pretty gnarly. All we need. So yeah, guys, we're in the toy hauler cleaning everything up, getting ready for the season. We did all the sheets, you know, washed everything up, because this thing sits out in Glamis all season long, and then we just kind of come and go. And this is our home away from home when we're in the season, working at the shop or out in the dunes. So I don't know, maybe some of you guys back east don't know what a toy hauler is, but basically it's like a travel trailer, but my car fits in here. So these beds, this is a couch and a bed, they fold up against the walls. This bed here goes all the way up to the ceiling, and then I can pull my sand car right in here, and it gets strapped down right here. And then we've got a front bedroom up here, you know, not a full-size fridge, but big enough. Got a little bathroom here, brush your teeth and what have you, toilet, shower, and then the front bedroom's up here with the TV. And yeah, so we kind of have the comforts of home while we're in the dunes. So as much as it pains me to leave this car sitting out here like this, because it really does, it drives me insane. Before I put the LS motor, when we were back in California, this car was basically my daily driver. You know, it had the stock 350 in it. I had a little work done to it, but I left this car sitting in the driveway. So every time I went to the store, I just drove it. So I'm not gonna end up being one of those guys that has a cool car and then just lets it sit and rot away. I'm starting to get some more rust back in here. So we're definitely gonna get back to work on this. It's got an LS in it now. It's got a 6-liter truck motor, a Gen 4 motor. It runs really good. Hold on, let me get the hood open. It runs really good. The problem is I had my buddy redo the transmission for me, and something went wrong when we put the pump back together. I think the pump seal's pinched or something. It just keeps pissing tranny fluid out from in between the motor and trans. It's on you know, a stock modified harness on HP tuners, but I think I'm going to go ahead and order the Holley Terminator X Max for this thing. It just works. I did it in the Caddy. I did it in my buddy Dwayne's truck. It just works really well. I think I'm going to go ahead and order that thing. It's only like $1,500. You know, and because this is a Gen 4 motor, it's a 58X crank. I had to run that adapter. That's the Lingenfelter 24 to 50, 58 or whatever converter for the crank, 56 or 58. That's the Lingenfelter 24 to 58 crank signal converter. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get back to work on this really soon. Like I said, it really pains me to let this thing just sit here. I do come out here and start it every once in a while, moving around, air the bags up. I also do have all the air conditioning stuff for this car. This is an AC car, and it did have cold AC in it when I moved, or before I put the LS in it. So I do have all the stuff to put it right here. So we're going to do that pretty soon too. So yeah, guys, we'll get back to work on this soon, and I'll make sure I cover all that as well. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel again, or welcome back. I don't even know where we're at in this video, but as you can see, the background has changed quite a bit. So we did a last-minute turnaround. We went ahead and brought our toy hauler out here and got it put away for the season. And well, by put away I mean set over there for us to camp in all season long while we're working at the shop and duning. And then now that we've got that blue car finished up, that SU Ultralight, we're going to pick up this one. This is another SU Ultralight. This belongs to a really good friend of ours, and it's got a 2.2 Ecotech in it. So if you guys know me, you know what we're going to do to this thing. We're definitely tearing this thing out, and she's getting a Honda V6. He's ready for some more power. This motor's not bad in the dunes. It'll put you around, but this car definitely needs some more power. So we are going to do a bit of upgrading here, get us a Honda V6 in here. We've already done our electric power steering. We did this in here a couple years ago, and I think we did this one here at the shop as well. Yeah, I think we did. I think this car's been here since then. It had a couple of problems. It's been sitting for so long. The fuel's all varnished up and the fuel pump was locked up. So you can see here we tried beating on it a little bit. That didn't work. So I took the fuel pump out, sprayed a bunch of brake clean through it, went and beat it on the workbench a little bit, and I got it spinning again. So let's go ahead and see if this thing fires up. Oh, I hear the pump priming. Oh, look at that. Oh, maybe not. Oh, there we go. That thing's still got that bad gas in it, so it's going to take a little while of running to get it cleaned out. It sounded like it was dead on a hole. It might be a stuck injector. We're going to let it run for a while, let it warm up, and then in preparation to go load it on the trailer and get it out of here, get it back to the shop and get this Ecotech pulled out. All right, so we got everything set up, got the trailer situated, got enough room to get one more. We got our customer parking kind of cleared up over here. We got this car loaded up on the trailer. That's going to get a Honda V6. We're shooting for to have this done by Veterans Day. This is kind of a big deal out here for these guys, and well, for us too, but as you can see, this guy is a veteran. So we'll try to have this done for Vets Day. The shop's pretty much stocked up and ready to go. So we're gonna get on the road and head home, and hopefully we can get back to working on the my sand car, getting those fuel rails and stuff installed. So we're gonna say goodbye to Glamis for now, and we're gonna get on the road. So guys, just like that, we're back home. We were just getting ready to start working on the sand car, and another thunderstorm. So I've got to get my garage built sooner, at least get this thing over to the shop, and where I can get it inside and start working on it. I would work on it in my regular garage, but the problem with this garage is it's just so small. There's not a lot of room for much. Mind you, you see all this stuff in my garage now. I still have my full old garage over at my buddy's shop, all of my air compressor and all my stuff. So we've got to get a bigger garage built out in the back. In the meantime, we're just kind of making do with what we got. It's not bad working on the Bug in there because that car's small. So we were going to start working on the sand car again, but again, here comes another thunderstorm. So you'd think I moved to Florida or something. Okay guys, and we're back. Finally got a reprieve from the weather somewhat. So we're going to go ahead and knock these fuel rails out real quick, and then we'll pull the intake manifold off, get everything cleaned up, and we'll get that valley plate put on. Finally. So here we go. Guys, so here's another kind of a no-no. You see this A&N fitting in there for the Dash 6 for my fuel system to feed fuel to the rails. Well, the problem is that this fitting is not factory. They brazed this into the factory. This is not even a fuel pressure regulator. This is like a full fuel pulse regulator. It regulates the fuel pulsing, keeps the pressure stable in the rails. And they've brazed that onto there, but it's not good for vibration, or you bump into that thing and it breaks and then you're screwed. So they do make a fitting that slips onto the end of the GM deal there, and it goes to Dash 6 or Dash whatever fuel line you want. So I would suggest you guys use that, get that fitting. Don't braze these onto there. That I failed to realize, and being an LS guy, you'd think I would have known this, but I normally deal with truck manifolds, not so many car manifolds that these rails are for an LS2 or an LS3, not for an LS1. They absolutely do not fit. So the mounting areas must be different in the LS2 and 3 manifolds. I looked them up on CBM's website, and sure as can be, these will not fit on my intake manifold. So I'll save these for another car. We'll stick with the stock ones for now, and it is what it is. So we're gonna get back to this. I'm definitely gonna need to address this. I'm gonna go and pick up. So I figured out why I did not run the alternator. The alternator relocate kit that came with this came off the side up here, and it hit the side of my chassis. So that's why I couldn't run it. So I'm gonna end up running the one that goes down here. I'm gonna go pick that up tomorrow, and then get the proper tensioner and the belts. And then I'm gonna switch crank pulleys. I have the car crank pulley for this, so it'll move the belt back, and it'll move the alternator and everything where it needs to be. So won't have any more belt issues. We went and saw our boys over at Dirty Dingo. It's kind of cool. These guys are local to us now that we're in Arizona. They're not but 20 minutes up the highway. So we went and saw them, got all the parts we need to get this alternator moved down low, get all this bracketry off, and get this belt to stop shredding up on me like that. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. We're gonna get all this stuff removed and start getting the new stuff put on. All right, so we got the old power steering bracket / alternator bracket off the motor, and we're gonna start putting the other bracketry on now. Kind of cool. This deal comes with a relocator kit with a pulley, with an idler pulley, and then it puts an idler pulley up high also, so you get more tension down here on the water pump, which is really cool. All right, so the first setup is the idler pulley that goes up here. Looks like it just screws right into the head. You can go on their website and look for the directions. All the directions for their stuff's on their website. But this is pretty simple. Looks like all the bolts are the same, and all the spacers are the same. So, and there's only 3 holes in the bracket, and there's 3 holes in the motor. So this is going to be pretty self-explanatory how this goes together. I'm going to put a spacer here, here. They even label them A, B. These ones are all A's. So let me get the tape, these stickers pulled off, and then we'll get the bracket put up there. How this is effectively going to go is the bolt's going to go through the bracket like so, and then the spacer is going to go on like so, and then it's going to screw down. I believe that one goes right there. I'll go ahead and get that screwed in. Yes, sir. That's exactly how that's going to go. So we're going to take the bolt. Sorry about the camera work there, guys. Put that through. That one's going to screw in there. And then the last one, we'll stand up and do that one. This is going to go right here in the top. Let's see if I can swing this. All right, hold on. Sorry about that, guys. But anyways, there we go. So we'll get these screwed in and torqued down, and we'll move on to the pulley. All right, well, I got this one in. This one went in fine. This bottom one, unfortunately, it's got a bunch of aluminum stuck on the head of the bolt there. We went in and took a factory bolt and put it in there, and it seems to work okay. So hopefully it'll still clear the idler pulley when we put it on. We'll find out here in just a second. All right, the idler pulley's on. Looks like that stock bolt clears no problem. I'll clean up that other bolt at the shop, and we'll end up sticking it back in there. All right, guys, sorry about that. My other camera died, but so we switched to this one. Anyways, we got the got the idler on there. We got the lock nut on the back. Everything looks good, and it looks like it's going to clear. Now this is what I call a car water pump. This is like a Corvette pump. It's not a truck pump. So what they did is somebody stuck a puller on here and pulled this pulley back so it could have the truck spacing. But fortunately, this surface area is so wide, my belt's going to ride right here. I don't think I need to move it back. I'm just going to leave it where it's at. The belt will ride about here in the middle. And as you can see, they pulled it back so the spacing lined up with a truck pulley. Like I said, this is coming off, and the LS1 pulley is going on here. So that'll move all my belt spacing up to where this pulley is, along with my alternator. So we're going to move on to putting the alternator kit on now, and we'll see how it looks. Because I have an iron block motor, the hole's not here. So I'm going to have to drill and tap a hole right here for the upper bolt. So we're still going to go ahead and get the alternator bracket bolted up. It goes something like this, right in this area. So we'll get the alternator in there and get it mocked up here. But I've got my old alternator mocked up in place. There's a third bolt with a long spacer that goes back here, but there's no threads in my block for that one. I think I can do fine without that one. I'm going to use this one. I need to drill and tap the block. And then there's a third bracket that goes on the back. It bolts on right there, and it bolts into an LS1 alternator. Like I said earlier, this is a truck alternator. I'm just using it for mock-up. But look at how tight the belt routing is. It's going to keep the belt so tight. So the belt's going to come around the crank pulley here, down, around the alternator, up over this idler, under the water pump, and then over the tensioner and back down to the crank pulley. Man, it's going to keep these belts so much in line, and that stuff's all just on the money straight. So tomorrow when I put this crank pulley on here, it should line up perfectly with all this. And like I said, I'll go over to O'Reilly's and I'll pick us up a new Camaro alternator that has the mounting bracket on the back. So we'll be mounted here, here, and with this big aluminum bracket on the back. We should have no mounting issues whatsoever. So that's going to do it for the belt alignment. This thing will be straight and good to go, and I'll quit flinging belts off in the middle of the dunes. So once again, we want to thank our guys over at Dirty Dingo Motorsports, man. They jumped on board and helped us out with this, and we definitely appreciate that. So if you guys need any LS accessories, anything to bolt up belt-wise, they make everything for AC brackets. They actually jumped on board with the Chevelle back there also, and I've got all the AC stuff from them. So if you guys need anything LS-wise, bracketry, hit them up. They're local, they're right here in Arizona, and their prices cannot be beat. So thanks again to Dirty Dingo Motorsports for helping us out. So once again, guys, that's going to do it for this video. We're running out of light. Like I said, we got all this stuff on. We'll get all the rest of that stuff tomorrow and get it finished up. I know this episode has been kind of all over the road, but that just kind of really goes to show you guys, I don't just work on one project at a time. It's almost impossible. I jump back and forth because I've got so many cars to build. So we're going to get back to this one tomorrow. We've got to get it back up and running because next weekend we're just going to drive this over to the shop, and we're doing the front A-arms on it. So, and then after that, the season started, I'll be able to work on the Chevelle. We'll get that thing knocked out too. So once again, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you give us a like and a subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.